The restaurant was buzzing with the usual evening rush. Waiters hurried between tables, trays balanced with steaming dishes and clinking glasses. Among them was Layla, a young waitress whose tired eyes still carried a spark of determination. She worked double shifts most days, not because she wanted to, but because she had to. Life had not been kind to her, but she refused to let bitterness consume her. Every plate she carried and every polite smile she forced was another step toward paying her tuition and keeping her dream of becoming a doctor alive. It was a night like any other, until he walked in. The man's presence was impossible to ignore. Draped in flowing white robes, with a perfectly groomed beard and a cold air of authority, he carried himself like the world owed him respect. His companions followed behind him, laughing too loudly, filling the quiet restaurant with a sense of arrogance. The waiters exchanged wary glances, already guessing the type of customers they were about to serve. Layla drew the short straw. She approached their table with her notepad ready, her tone polite and professional. But the sheikh barely looked at her. Instead, he barked orders at her in English, treating her not as a person but as an inconvenience. "Water, cold, fast, and don't mess it up," he snapped, waving his hand dismissively as though shooing away a fly. Layla's smile faltered, but she held her tongue. She had dealt with rude customers before. But something about his tone, sharp, demeaning, soaked in superiority, cut deeper than usual. She brought the water, careful not to spill, but when she placed the glass down, the sheikh sneered. "Is this how you serve in this country? Pathetic. In my land, a servant would be punished for such clumsy service," he said loudly, ensuring the nearby tables heard. His friends laughed, one slapping the table as if this humiliation was the evening's entertainment. Heat rushed to Layla's cheeks. She clenched her fists behind her apron, fighting the sting of tears. She could endure insults, but humiliation, public humiliation, was harder to swallow. Still, she took a deep breath. She needed this job. She couldn't risk speaking back. But then, the sheikh leaned closer, his voice dripping with disdain. "People like you serve because you are nothing. Remember that." The words struck like a slap. Something inside Layla shifted. Her heart pounded in her chest, not from fear, but from the burning flame of dignity she refused to let die. She lifted her chin, looked him straight in the eye, and spoke softly, but this time, in perfect, fluent Arabic. "Ya Sheikh," she said firmly, her voice steady. "In our culture, we are taught that the true measure of a person's worth is not how they treat those above them, but how they treat those beneath them." The table fell silent. His companions stopped laughing. The sheikh froze, eyes widening in shock. For the first time, he truly saw her. Not just a waitress, not just someone carrying plates, but a woman who spoke his language, understood his roots, and had the courage to confront him with wisdom. Layla's words lingered in the air like a quiet thunder. Customers at nearby tables turned their heads, sensing something extraordinary had just happened. The sheikh's face flushed. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. No clever insult came to him. No arrogance could shield him from the truth of her words. In that moment, he was the one humiliated, not by mockery, but by dignity. But Layla's story didn't end there. After that night, whispers spread. Some customers applauded her courage. Others worried she might be fired. The restaurant manager, initially furious that she had spoken back to such a powerful customer, called her into the office the next day. Layla braced herself for the worst. To her surprise, the sheikh himself walked in moments later. But this time, his demeanor had changed. The arrogance was gone, replaced with something unexpected, humility. "I came to apologize," he said quietly, his English softer, stripped of the earlier harshness. Then, switching to Arabic, he added, "You reminded me of something I had forgotten, that respect is the foundation of honor. My father used to tell me this when I was young. Somewhere along the way, I lost it." Layla blinked, hardly believing her ears. The same man who had publicly humiliated her was now bowing his head in regret. But forgiveness did not come easily. She thought of all the nights she had endured insults, of the people who believed they could trample over her because of her job. Yet, she also thought of the values her parents had raised her with: compassion, patience, and mercy. "I forgive you," she finally said. "But not for your sake, for mine. Carry your lesson forward, Sheikh." Treat people with kindness, no matter who they are. The sheikh nodded, his eyes glistening with something that looked like shame, or perhaps respect. From that day on, Layla's story became a quiet legend among the restaurant staff. Customers who had once ignored her now looked at her differently. Some even asked her about her dreams, and when they learned she wanted to study medicine, they encouraged her. Months later, Layla received an anonymous donation toward her tuition. She never confirmed who it came from, but she had her suspicions. Her journey remained difficult. She faced exhaustion, financial struggles, and moments of doubt. But she carried with her the memory of the night she stood up for her dignity, and the knowledge that words, when spoken with courage and truth, could transform even the hardest of hearts. And the sheikh, he, too, was transformed. He returned to his homeland, telling his companions and family about the waitress who reminded him of humility. He began funding scholarships for underprivileged students, a quiet attempt to honor the lesson he had learned. Life is not about titles, wealth, or power. It is about how we treat one another. Layla's story reminds us all that dignity cannot be taken away by insult, and respect costs nothing but means everything. So the next time you feel invisible or belittled, remember Layla. Stand tall, speak truth, and never forget, kindness is the true crown of honor. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, let us know in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a moment where kindness or courage changed everything? Share your story, we'd love to hear it. And don't forget, subscribe to Kindness Wins for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of compassion, dignity, and respect. Because in the end, kindness always wins.